This video is going to discuss old skylights and the reasons they leak. So, it's been a minute since I made a video, but hopefully you can bear with me. This one should be a relatively short one. Okay, we have a 1940s, 1950s style skylight. Some of them even older. But this is typical reinforced glass. A cowl here for venting. And on this roof we have two of them. And if you notice, a lot of beading water. Some of them low spots, they'll have to get taken out. An asphalt roof is not really meant to hold water. But it's a relatively recent coating, and it was in pretty decent shape. So it's a built-up roof, so a coating is good. Now, here is a skylight, and here's another one. Now, if you look at the difference, you'll see that this is spray foam and whatever, and it comes all the way out here right to the edge. It kind of, here if you get an idea, here's a skylight that kind of deviates out like this and then meets the bottom of the skylight. And then you can get a little better idea of it if I get down the water here a little, and you'll see what it looks like. There you go. Now, this skylight leaks, and so did this one. So, what is the remedy and what is the cause? Well, let's talk about the cause. There's a couple of them. One, what will happen is some of these cowls, these are galvanized steel, and if they're not well painted, they'll rust through and you'll get leaks in them. And then the second is the glazing. This was reglazed with silicone. It's actually a good job. Maybe it was a 1950s silicone job to begin with. So that'll last a long time. Next is broken glass. Usually the leak is if you're missing a piece. This is maybe a leak on the worst day. And you can see it's been patched here with a little black silicone. So it's not a big leaker. Now, this is the most common. I want you to think about what you just saw from the last skylight. And I'm going to go ahead and lay down here in the water for you guys so you can get a view of what it should look like. You see how there's a clear, obvious lip here? If we look underneath, you'll see metal the whole way down. And then you'll see this has all been cleaned off as well. That's what it should look like. In fact, actually, these skylights will be lifted up again, and then the curb cleaned off a little better, and then finished with some hot and some fiberglass, and then the skylight lowered back down. But what we're looking at is these little depressions. They're hollow underneath it, and sometimes they get filled up. A little bit of crap, or somebody will take roof cement, or hot will get in there, and then these will all then have a layer of material on top of them. Now, the way these windows work is that this piece of metal here holds and supports the glass from sliding down. Any of the water that lands here or in here or wherever tends to want to migrate with the glass. But it depends on gravity rather than, you know, silicone or whatever. And then it'll get in these little cracks, and then it'll kind of fill up and then go over, and then it'll drain out these little depressions. They're called weep holes. And it'll just be little tears of water dripping out. And if, for whatever the reason, you were to block them over, like we have on the other skylight over there, those will be directed into the roof. And oftentimes, when you dig that stuff away, what you'll see is hollow, like a hollow spot like this, a little depression. This, and then you'll fill it up with cement. Let the cement stiffen up, and then you'll go ahead and do it. Then come back with hot or torch down or whatever, or single ply, but that's another discussion altogether. Okay, so with that all being said, the method is to chip off all the old cement very carefully. Wear your eye protection, and then you'll have something like this, and you'll dig it out a little bit so it's something close to flat. If you look, you will see this is relatively flat, troweled smooth with a little bit of cement. I'm using Allied's brand here. It's pretty cost effective, and it does a nice job. And if you look, you see which is Ultimate rubberized. It's pretty good, and this is I think it's pretty base. You know, base cost is around $40 a 5-gallon pail, so $10 cheaper than Home Depot, so it's a pretty good deal. And then if you look right here, Sticks and Bonds Underwater, and you'll see that those pails in Home Depot are half the size of this, and they're $60 a pail. I know, I've had to buy them in rain before. So if you have a little bit of trace water like this, and you had to get this flashed in while a storm is coming in, then you can go ahead and do it. So it's nice to have wet and dry, air fingers quote, cement. So, and then how are these fastened down? they're fastened down with nails. You could use a screw, but a nail is nice because you can dig off and then pop the nail back out half a century from now when you do this again. If you're still around. But anyway, this is what the finished repair looks like. Cement's nice and stiff. It's going to go ahead and not leak next rain, and then I'll come back and finish up the hot, take care of those low spots, and then this will be a completed roof. So this is the bulk of the causes of leaky skylights, at least in this style. There are many different styles. There are domes, there's plastic domes, there's some plastic bubbles and so on. And each of those have their own little quirks of how to get them and keep them watertight. But the general principles of water, or something that's on a curb, is to make sure the low point of the curb is repaired, and to make sure that the down bend in the skylight, the mounting flange, is always over something good and solid. So there you go. Good luck.